7 Years' War was a series of conflicts spanning across North America, the Caribbean, the Indian subcontinent, Africa, Pacific Islands, and European mainland. It was mainly between the British and French colonial empires and their alliances. From 1750 to 1763, each area of the war centered on territorial control of fledgling colonies, vital trade network to said colonies, and some key alliances with native populations. Truly, a Proto-World War, the results were historically significant for the following centuries. The war was part of larger European struggles as they had emerged out of what was known as their Dark Ages, since the fall of the Roman Empire, and now competing for profitable land that the era's superpower, the Qing dynasty, had deemed irrelevant and inconsequential. In North America, although the French and Indian Wars were fought roughly from 1688, they decisively ended in 1763. French colonies primarily stretched along the St. Lawrence River, the Great Lakes, and down the Mississippi River to New Orleans. Louisiana, France relied on smaller settler populations, but also extensive partnerships with native nations through their fur trade. The French cultivated long-standing alliances with many tribes such as the Huron-Wendat, Abenaki, Algonquin, and Ottawa. These alliances were strengthened by intermarriage, trade relationships, and less aggressive settlement patterns. Meanwhile, the British colonies were located along the Atlantic coast, with rapidly growing settler populations and expanding agricultural, economic opportunities. They worked with nations such as the Iroquois Confederacy, the Catawba, and various southern tribes. Relations were often transactional and fraught, but they provided superior supplies and weaponry. Native nations generally fought to defend their homelands, maintain trade advantages, and played decisive roles for conflict outcomes. At times tried to pit European powers against each other to distract and prevent one from having sole domination of their land. French strategies emphasized fortified positions such as Fort Duquesne, Louisbourg, and Quebec with fewer settlers. They relied heavily on native allies and very mobile warfare to defend large tracts of territory. Britain leveraged its far larger population to form local militias to supplement the professional regiments sent from British homeland. Large-scale campaigns to seize forts and naval superiority to cut French shipping supply lines. End result, Britain achieved a complete victory in North America, gained uncontested control of Canada, old territory east of the Mississippi River, and even Spanish Florida. This greatly expanded its colonial domain, putting its empire on a superpower trajectory, but took on a massive war debt, leading to new taxes on its colonies, a contributing factor for the American Revolution for independence that France would eventually support. In the Caribbean, Britain temporarily occupied French and Spanish islands again through its naval superiority, imposing blockade. Due to the blockades, cutting supply, sugar production disruptions caused massive economic ripple effects. In the end, with the loss of their North American territory, France did a strategic refocus on the Caribbean islands for sugar production, which still remained extremely profitable. On the Indian Ocean and subcontinent front, Britain could effectively control trade routes due to strategic colonies from Bay of Bengal around India to Cape of Good Hope around South Africa. Much like in North America, in the Caribbean, this gave them opportunities to isolate and starve key French islands such as Mauritius and Seychelles, and France's capital in the Indian subcontinent. Pondicherry total control of the subcontinent laid the foundation for what would be the British Raj, becoming their empire's most vital overseas territory after the eventual loss of the American colonies. Over time, France was permitted to re-establish civilian trading posts in India. In the Asian Pacific front, Spain's delayed entry allowed for Britain to develop a contingency to counter them. Spain was caught unprepared. Due to Britain's strategically staged offensive measures, Spain's major colony of the Philippines was rapidly overwhelmed by British naval power. Due to disrepair of fortifications and ill-prepared troops, Britain occupied the main port of Manila for 18 months, from October 1762 to March 1764, eventually returning the territory to Spain.
Well, the quick tidbit of history for y'all. Thank you for watching. Look out for the part 2 that talks about the African and European fronts. Bye-bye.